Hello, everyone. Welcome to Campus Safety Voices. I'm Robin Hattersley from Campus Safety Magazine. At the beginning of March 2020, while the rest of the world was grappling with the emerging COVID-19 pandemic, Tennessee State University was dealt another serious blow. An EF3 tornado tore through the area and hit Tennessee State's campus directly. It's estimated the twister cost the university more than $20 million. So, in addition to having to address the pandemic, Tennessee State University Director of Emergency Management Thomas Graham, who is also one of this year's Campus Safety Director of the Year finalists, had to deal with the aftermath of the severe tornado strike. But Thomas was up to the challenge. He quickly organized a team of colleagues and more than 400 volunteers to assist with the cleanup. In my interview, Thomas describes his and Tennessee State's experience before, during, and after this ordeal. So, here's my interview with Thomas Graham. Enjoy the show. So please describe what happened when the EF3 tornado struck your campus. That was back in March of 2020, correct?
Correct. So we received the call from our campus dispatch that we had a direct impact from the tornado. And when our team got on site, it was very difficult to see the devastation that was left by the tornado. But as daybreak came upon us, we were able to see just devastation around our agricultural research facilities. We have several facilities that were completely destroyed. We have research animals such as goats and some other animals around the campus that our faculty research and really study that some were missing. We had research in the facilities that were completely destroyed. It was very devastating. It was very hard. You know, a lot of our faculty members spent years of researching these animals and plants and things of that nature. And for it to be gone overnight, I think really devastated them.
And I've read that there was about $20 million worth of damage. Is that correct?
That is, we're still assessing. The process is steady going up. So we don't know exactly what that number is going to be. As we are recovering. But I will say that the research that we lost was priceless, and just years of research that we probably will never be able to get back. So yeah.
That's rough. I'm really sorry to hear about that. How much time did you have to prepare for the tornado, and what did you do to prepare for it, if anything, if you could,
So being in Nashville, we knew that one of our top threats was severe weather, and we tried to plan accordingly. We had made several preparations, such as becoming a storm-ready institution through the National Weather Service. We drilled annually and really talked about what severe weather how that could impact our campus. And so we really focused in on how to prepare and respond to it. Once we were impacted by the tornado, our response with our partners from the city of Nashville, the state emergency management office, was really coordinated, and we were able to really get boots on the ground and start the response piece. Our volunteers were there as soon as day broke, and we really tried to begin the recovery piece as soon as possible.
So what did you do actually during the tornado? Were you guys hunkered down? Did you evacuate the campus? What did you do?
So once the National Weather Service issued the tornado warning, our campus, along with the city of Nashville, immediately notified the community, and our community took appropriate action. We were blessed. Some of our students had begun the process of spring break. So, and the tornado did devastate the area, which was located near our campus housing apartment complex. Gratefully, it did not take a head-on impact from the tornado. However, they did sustain major roof damage. But a lot of our students, again, were out prepping for spring break. And so that was a blessing for the institution that a lot of the students had started the process of going home for spring break. Our students kind of have an understanding of what to do. A lot of our students come from the southern region, and so they are aware of severe weather and they kind of understand what the expectations are. But we try to also talk with our students once they arrive to campus and move into the dormitories of what the expectations of emergency preparedness looks like and how to prepare for situations such as the severe weather that could lead to a tornado.
So was anyone hurt?
No.
Thank
Gratefully,
goodness.
we did not have any human injuries or casualties. We did have one of our research animals end up not surviving. And as day broke, we did, I'm not sure if you've seen in the news, but we did have the delivery of one of our research animals, one that was with animal, did give birth the day of the tornado.
So now you were able to rally more than 400 volunteers to help with the cleanup. And how were you able to do that? And did you have a plan in place before the tornado struck so you could quickly call up the volunteers, or was it done on the fly?
So a great thing about our institution is that we often call on volunteers from our alums, from fellow students and fellow faculty members, fellow staff members to participate in a lot of our events. And so when we use our same planning design that we would have used for a large event on campus, such as a commencement or a football game, we kind of used it as the basis of our planning. Uh, our alums are very engaged, and once news broke that we had been hit, they were ready to jump at the effort to aid the institution in recovery. And so just being able to use our current systems that we already had in place with our campus community service initiative, as well as our alums and their willingness to jump in and help, really aided the institution in aligning our volunteers to come in and really help get the university back on a good footing to start the recovery process.
So what did the volunteers actually do during the cleanup efforts, and how did you organize them?
So the way we organized it is we identified a location where all volunteers could check in. We really wanted to document everyone who came in to ensure that they understood the area that they were going in was hazardous, as well as making sure that we had a proper documentation of everybody in the area, for different reasons, security reasons, as well as just making sure anybody going in that we could account for those individuals. Once they checked in, we then bused them over to the area that was severely impacted, and they were put into different groups. And those groups went throughout the area and kind of picked up debris that were left from the destroyed facilities, as well as some of the other things that needed to be done right away to aid in the recovery of the institution.
So do you have any advice for other campuses facing emergencies and how to recruit and manage volunteers who want to help?
So my advice to other institutions who have who are looking to develop a volunteer plan is to plan for everything. One thing that we had planned for, but we were kind of unprepared for, was the donation piece. When I say donations, I'm talking more food. So we had so many volunteers and so many people were there. We were our catering and our dining services here on campus provided um, donations of meals for lunch for the volunteers. But we also started receiving a lot of food from other businesses in the area who were just wanting to help, and just being able to identify, you know, areas to feed. And then, we were in the midst of COVID, and so we were uncertain at that time of a lot of information about COVID. But what we knew was that things were happening and that we needed to take some safety precautions. So we were monitoring the COVID situation as well as monitoring our tornado response. And so, it was unprecedented to see such, you know, um, two disasters happening simultaneously and trying to coordinate both. My advice to other institutions would, really try to plan for the unexpected, um, and really take a look at your resources that you have. Do not shy away from the students. Our student population were great. I mean, they were really ready to get back and volunteer. We had student groups who kind of cut their spring break short to come back and help clean up. And our alums, our alums were trying to get to campus from all across the nation, and they were really trying to get in to make sure the institution had resources that was needed to respond. So the resource piece is very key, and I would advise anyone to really make sure that your resource accountability piece is up to date, and making sure that you have a plan to account for your resources.
Well, you bring up a really good point that this tornado happened right at the beginning of when everything was starting to shut down.
Yeah.
That must have thrown some really weird curveballs. Do you have any examples?
So as we were preparing for uh, our tornado response, we were also watching the numbers in different areas of with COVID started to rise, and it really started to begin to really concern us. Just because we had no idea of what COVID would turn into, and with the uncertainty of COVID and the response of the tornado, our resources were stretched completely thin. I mean, we were to the point where our team was divided. One section kind of really took head on with COVID. The other section took head on with the tornado response, and we just tried to really help each other out where we saw that we were lacking. But I will say that our administration, from our president down to our chief of staff, were very um, hands-on in making sure that we had the resources we needed to properly respond. And that was key. They did not say no to anything that was needed. They really found a way to make sure that the response from the tornado was done appropriately. They found a way to make sure that we could monitor and start the planning process for COVID as well. So that I think was the key to our success was our administration. Our university president really took it serious. Our chief of staff of the institution really took it serious, and they really asked us, what do you guys need? And they really jumped in, and really helped. I mean, really helped. Our chief of staff has an emergency management background, and that really aided us in our response.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I would say that the administration uh, probably played the most important part in our response, because of their understanding and their preparedness uh, of emergency management really aided us in our response. They understood things that we were talking about when we were able to bring everybody together and talk about our recovery. Um, just understanding and being hands-on really aided us in making sure that our policies were followed to the T, making sure that resources were provided. And I can't say enough great things about the coordination of the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency Director Sheehan. Him and his staff really jumped in and offered any resources that we would need from the governor's office. That relationship part is the most important part. And we often pride ourselves on our relationship with our state partners and our local partners. But when we needed them, they were there. And I really would like to credit the relationship that we have had and built over the years. They understood um, where we came from, and they understood our challenges and our needs, and they were able to really aid us in those areas to really ensure that we were prepared for the recovery part of this.
Thomas, thank you so much.
Thank you.